waging war for all the power in the universe.
Now it's your turn. Give it up, Skeletor. I've got He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Come on, He-Man. Come on, He-Man. You got him, He-Man. You're a hero.
You can be a hero.
With He-Man.
Buy He-Man in specially marked packages and get him mutant-free. Figures and vehicles sold separately.
Thus, with the power of the good and the way of the magic, this won't even be worth watching.
Hello, this is OptimusSolo, and welcome to the 106th and 107th chapter in our Powers of GRAYSKULL series. With me for this journey into the Masters of the Universe franchise, once again, TFG1Mike. Hello.
Hello.
Are you ready for another trip to space, sir?
You need to rephrase that.
Are you ready for the final voyage?
Thank you.
It's the final countdown.
Stop. You know what? I would rather listen to that song on repeat than watch this cartoon series ever again.
We did the unthinkable, guys. We have achieved the impossible. That's right. We have made our way through all of the episodes of the New Adventures of He-Man. We will finish today. Why? Because we were so close to the finish line, guys, that we just have to say we're going to get it over in one fell swoop here. We can't drag it out any longer. We can't hold back the anticipation to get to a new series any longer. We have good stuff waiting in the wings. We have to finish today. So we're going to give you a double episode. That's right. We're going to do 106, and then we're going to take a quick break and come right back with episode 107. So
yeah, it's kind of like that time back in She-Ra when we did episodes 76 and 77 as a double shot of episode. Because
something about sixes and sevens.
Well, yeah, it's that, but 76, 77 was the two episodes where, you know, Bo's magical gift made Glimmer come home. So that was that.
Anyway.
No, hey, it's one of those things where, hey, we found a really, really bad innuendo in She-Ra.
Mike did. Anyways, in this episode of Masters in Space, in this first half, I should say, we're going to be giving you our thoughts on the following two episodes. It's episode 62 and episode 63. They're titled A Time to Leave, which, yes, it is a time to leave this series, and The Games. So we hope you're ready, because it's time for almost the last time to go back in space.
Hello, geeks and geekettes! Looking for a podcast that covers a vast array of topics? Then check out Altered Geek Unleashed, where we discuss our thoughts on this week's geeky news, tech, gaming, television shows, movies, cartoons, comics, and more. So, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks, every Friday on the Geekcast Radio Network.
All right, first up today is episode 62, A Time to Leave. A more apropos name could not have been found. This is written by Jack Galesker, as are all of the remaining episodes that we will be talking about.
I have to say, before we get too far into A Time to Leave, and this entire thing should have been a four-part... It technically is a four-part ending to the series. I mean, hell, even the episodes before this, Krellis and whatever the hell else, after Them There Hills, whatever episodes were after that, Call to the Games, and then Blacksmith of Krellis. So let's say Call to the Games, Blacksmith of Krellis, A Time to Leave, whatever the other one is, The Games, Flogg's Revenge, and those 6 episodes should have been like one of those epic 80s multi-part, like More Than Meets the Eye, or Secret of the Sword, or, something big. And It just feels really broken up.
Yeah, it's weird the way that they decided to do this, because it's basically like, I don't know, it seems like they're going this one direction, we're going to have this like multi-story, and then I was like, wait, what? We're not doing that. But then it was like, just like step by step, it was like, this episode's only going to deal with them planning to leave, and then this episode's going to deal with them leaving, and then this episode's going to deal with the actual games finally. It's kind of interesting.
It's kind of all very sadly anticlimactic is what it is, really.
Yeah, I mean, that too. Notes for whatever this one is, A Time to Leave.
Yes.
What did you think, first off? What did you think of this episode?
It's the only thing I wrote down for it was that there are some great lines in the episode, but overall, it's too damn late for creating any kind of character depth. It just felt like one half of an episode. It didn't even really feel like it was obviously a full 22-minute episode, but the entire time I'm like, where are they leaving to? When are we going to see the journey? What's going on? This is 22 minutes of hell. Oh my god. I mean, like, I can understand if they were, standing in line at the airport for 22 minutes waiting to leave, but they're like preparing and this and that and whatever else. I don't know.
Yeah. Here's the thing, like, they have all these episodes that are somewhat connected to each other with all these, like, kind of ongoing multi-part thing going here, so that there was plenty of time to do some development. There was plenty of time to work on certain characters, etc. But this one's again weird because it's kind of one of those right in the middle of all of this that's going on, and they're introducing another new character, and then like he very quickly goes bad without a whole lot of motivation or reasoning, if I'm remembering correctly. So I don't know. It's weird. I just feel like they could have done so much more with these 6 episodes. Like, I like that there's some interconnectivity between them, but I just feel like some of this stuff could have been more fleshed out. Like, we had so many new characters that were introduced in the final, like, 6 to 8 episodes of this series, and we just keep bouncing around from one to one to the other, and it's like, could we spend, like, 5 minutes with one and then get to learn a little bit about them? So I found this one kind of be a little bit of the middle of the road, which is going to sound like a broken record because that's where I've been at if you go back here, let's go back a few episodes. Queen's Gambit, 2.5. There's Gems in These Hills, 3. The Call to the Games, 2.5. The Blacksmith of Krellis, 2.5. And now A Time to Leave, another 2.5. Like, it's all middle of the road right now for me.
Yeah, I have to say, we're getting to the end. I know we're not at the end yet, but it feels like the producers, the writer, because I can't say writers, because yes, there were a couple other writers, but let's all face it, Jack Olesker was the guy. Whoever else was behind this, not counting the voice performances, because that's a whole other thing. The actual genesis and being of the show. It feels like it's a Hail Mary that they were trying to do with something new and something different, which it really isn't all that different. Okay, sure, put He-Man in space. That's kind of different, but how many times did He-Man go to space in both He-Man and She-Ra? I mean, hell, going to She-Ra, it's an entire different planet. It's,
right.
It's not like Etheria and Eternia are on the same planet and the Fright Zone is at one corner, Snake Mountain's at another, Castle Grayskull's at another, and the Palace of Power, or the Palace of Bright Moon, or whatever the hell, is in the... It's not like it's 4 corners of the same world. It's all different worlds. So technically, He-Man has been in space before. He just hasn't been solely in space or solely off of Eternia until this show. And it just feels like they fumbled the ball at the one goal line or something, or they missed the slap shot, or they missed the 3-pointer, or they struck out in whatever sports analogy you want to put into it. At the end of this, having gone back and watched it all again and not had my childhood preconceived notions of when I watched it as a child, just looking at it as an adult, this is a bad cartoon series. I mean, this isn't just it's a bad cartoon series overall, but it's a direction for He-Man that I would have never wanted. Yes, I understand the toy line, the this, the that, the cartoon series, the She-Ra, the whatever. With Filmation, it went away, or like all things do. Like, I mean, Transformers went away for a while and came back with Beast Wars, and Beast Wars was a huge success. And I think this was... We always talk about, the Unicron trilogy and how parts of that are fumbles in Transformers. And I personally think this is Nothing in the New Adventures of He-Man, in my personal opinion, the cartoon, helped to save the Masters of the Universe franchise. Beast Wars helped save Transformers. The 2007 live-action film, say what you want to say about the Michael Bay universe, whatever, I say that shit too, I don't care. Point is, without the billions of dollars that the Michael Bay Transformers movies have put into it, I don't know what Transformers would look like right now, as far as a overall franchise. I'm not sure. It's a thing of, and I would have rather of them do something like what they did with Back to the Future. You have the 3 movies, you have the animated series. The animated series kind of continued, but told you different stories based on the characters from the 3 movies, with the whole Bill Nye the Science Guy, Doc Brown kind of, Beakman's World kind of live action bits. You know what you do? You take the 87 characters or whatever, put them into a series, and the continuing struggles of He-Man and Skeletor and whatever, and do that. Don't just...
I mean, I don't think the premise on its own is terrible. Like, I get the whole idea of, hey, we're gonna continue this, but we're gonna shift to a different location. So that's fine. If you want to do it in space, that's good. If it's like this little like adventure, like, hey, He-Man's, from Etheria Eternia, but we're going to have this one series where, we're going to transport some of these characters to another thing. They're going to meet some new people, go through this, and then eventually they're going to wrap up and come back. Like, okay, that's fine and dandy on surface value. But the problem is the only characters you took, basically, are He-Man and Skeletor, with the exception of the Sorceress. I mean, you have Tila that shows up very briefly in one episode, but basically you're just talking about 2 main characters that are showing up. I get it, it's the main hero and the main villain, but to me that's too manufactured. Like, I would have rather it had like a group, like you have, and you could have done a number of different things here. You could have just taken a main group from He-Man, like let's say, like almost think of like an away team from Star Trek. Like you have your like 4 or 5 people and they're on something, they get transported in here and it's their journey to try to get back. Like that would have sold me. But you don't, you just take He-Man, which is odd. The other thing you could have done, you could have taken a mixture of, since you had He-Man and you had She-Ra and they're both over, take a page out of what you did with this, Secret of the Sword or whatever, and start combining your worlds a little bit. Take a couple of the fan favorites from She-Ra, a couple He-Man characters, have them be together and go off on this journey. That's fine. Or third option, you have the live action movie, which had toy figures that were made out of some of the characters there. There was new characters there that we got introduced to, both villains and heroes. You could have done something with them if you really wanted to and build off of them. We've just been introduced to them, just that one movie. So you could have done a lot of different things. It just, the fact that they just took just He-Man and just Skeletor, put them in this thing, and then it's just like they couldn't pick a lane. You have, are we going to do stuff with the scientists? Are we going to do stuff with the robots? Are we going to do stuff with the mutants? And then we have this whole other planet that's been involved in all these different races in the last 6 to 8 episodes. Like they couldn't pick where to go. Like I appreciate that they got to finally where they did in the end, which we'll talk about shortly. But it's just a miss. It's not even it's not even on the 1 yard line. This is a kickoff where the kicker missed the ball. It's Charlie Brown. Like the ball got yanked. Lucy took the ball away and you missed. So you were on the field. You had some of the players. The ball never got put into play. So we're going to take a quick second, and then we're going to come back and see if it got any better with our next episode entitled The Games. Hey, we finally got to the games. Let's see what that was like.
Because the world needs another movie podcast.
The Geekcast Radio Network presents for your listening pleasure the Cinema Geek.
Hosted by Amanda, Kevin, Matt, and Dan.
Each week we dive headfirst in the landscape of movies as we discuss movie news,
Play movie games.
Go in-depth on reviews.
And even have a top 10 countdown or two.
Also, don't miss our director retrospective series, where we review noted directors' movies film by film.
Bottom line is, if you love movies and love podcasts, you need to experience the Cinema Geeks.
You can find us on iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, or GeekCastRadio.com.
It's Showtime Synergy. The latest review podcast from the Geekcast Radio Network is here. So join TFG1Mike, Nicole Hailstorm, and myself, Lady Rec, as we will be reviewing all 65 episodes of Joe and the Holograms in a 25-episode long podcast. You can find Showtime Synergy on iTunes and GeekCastRadio.com. We are the truly outrageous podcast that you want to be listening to.
All right, you're still here, amazingly. On to episode 63, which is entitled The Games. Before we start, Mike, I never let you give a rating for A Time to Leave. I was at a 2.5. What did you give that one?
1.5.
1.5. All right. So we finally get to the games after all this planning and plotting and trying to leave and assembling our teams and whatnot. And we're going to be doing this whole thing with all these like contests. So I don't have a problem with this type of episode. We've seen this in, like I said, multiple different things where you have an episode where somebody's testing you and you're going to be doing these various games, your various contests, various challenges, whatever you want to call it. So that's fine, especially for just a short, 22 minute episode or whatever the heck you want to do. What did you think of the games though? In execution.
Anticlimactic. I felt like there was no consequence either way.
No.
It felt okay. So, as we are recording this, this will be out much later. But as of right now, when we're recording this, March 25th, 2019, at 8:10 p.m. Central Time, I have been doing my Beverly Hills 90210 rewatch in memory of Luke Perry. I am now up to Season 3 of that show. I am now up to the Season 3 episode where they emulate and kind of copy It's a Wonderful Life. It's the one where the two little stars in the sky go around, and it's the bus with the kids and the this and the that. Okay? So, and you've seen this kind of plot elsewhere. You've got these two guys, whatever the hell their names are, in New Adventures of He-Man, who want to see, good guys versus bad guys, who's the better. Think of, you may or may not know of this, I don't know if you do, I know you're not that big of a comic guy. In the 90s, Marvel and DC teamed up to do DC versus Marvel, where you had two guys getting together, good guys and bad guys, and fighting each other to see, who had the best will or the best strength. That's what this reminds me of, these games. And then after the games are completed or won or defeated or whatever, these people won't let them leave because they're lonely? Or
here's the problem. All right, like you said, you can have a series or an episode that has, let's face it, almost everything that we watch or consume in media these days, whether it's TV shows, movies, whatever it might be, shorts, miniseries, etc. They're all based off of, not based, but they all are influenced by things that came before them. Yeah. Right? That's just a thing. You're never going to escape that. So people that are like, I want something original. Well, it's hard to be original, hundreds of years after people started creating stories and stuff like that. There's only so many stories that can be told. So we do it in different ways. We wrap it up in different packages. We put bows on it. We try to disguise it, etc. Which is fine, because they can all be entertaining in different ways. Even take an exact, almost replica. Take, I don't know, just for shits and giggles, take the animated Beauty and the Beast and then the live action Beauty and the Beast. It's literally taking the exact same story. It's not hiding it. It's like, hey, this is a retelling of the exact same story. We're just going to package it up in a different way. And that's fine. It can be successful. People can enjoy it, etc. What I have a problem with is when you don't put enough effort in disguising what you're being influenced by, where it's just comes across more as like a blatant, lazy, we're going to do something that's already been done and we're not even going to try to do it different type thing. Yeah. And this series has been doing that a whole lot. From the get, it's been doing a whole lot of Star Wars stuff. It's been doing, various things that we pointed out throughout the episodes. And this is a freaking Wizard of Oz story.
Yeah, it is.
This is literally a group of people that are being brought together to do something, and in the end, we pull the curtain back and find the men behind the curtain. Mm-hmm. And that, for some reason, rubbed me the wrong way with how it was done in this episode. And I was looking forward to where this was all going. We have all this build-up with the games and whatever, and then they're just going to do a freaking Wizard of Oz thing. So I was put off by this episode, and I did not like it at all.
Yeah, no, I didn't at all. Like, I was expecting some big giant battle with He-Man and Skeletor, or with Flipshot and Flogg, or not Snorlax, that's a Pokemon. Which that, you know, between Snorlax and Jigglypuff, this episode put us to sleep. Hydran and
Flogg or whoever.
Well, Flogg or Slushhead or
Right.
Krita or whatever. Like, I was expecting more of a battle than what we got. Like, we got more of a battle in an episode previously to this than what we did here.
All right. Yeah, I was disappointed big time. This one's a 1.5 for me. I did not enjoy this episode at all.
Straight 0. If I could give it a -10, I would.
Ouch. Ouch.
Yeah,
ouch.
straight 0.
All right, so that does it for 106. We're going to take a quick break, and like I said, we're coming back with a whole nother episode. I know they're quick. That's why we're doing them together. We can get this out of the way. We have 2 episodes left remaining in this series, so hold tight. We'll be right back.
Do you like retro cartoons? Then Saturday Morning Rewind is the podcast for you. Join them each month as they talk about classic cartoons and interview legendary voice actors like Jim Cummings,
I am the terror that flaps in the night.
Corey Burton,
Sometimes things can be so flighty.
Rob Paulson,
Sure, Brain, but how are we going to find chaps our size?
Nancy Cartwright, and many more.
Eat my shorts.
So grab a bowl of Lucky Charms.
They're magically delicious.
Put on your hammer pants. Go to SaturdayMorningRewind.com. And be prepared to feel like a kid again. Once again, that's SaturdayMorningRewind.com. Saturday Morning Rewind was voted best podcast ever by its host, Tim Nidell. So it's gotta be good.
All right, we're back, and this is episode 107, in which we're going to be talking about episodes 64 and 65, the final 2 New Adventures of He-Man episodes. Are you ready, Mike?
You could say this is our final adventure into the crappy universe that is Primus, or
it only gets better from here, folks. We've
you know
made
what?
it.
You know what would have made this the ending of this series so much better?
The impossible dream. What?
If Unicron came in and ate both planets.
Yeah. Where's the Planet Eater when you need him?
Yep.
All right, well, let's start with Flogg's Revenge. Do you know how much I was ripping on the games? And I didn't go in depth, but I didn't like it. This is actually a decent carryover from a previous episode. Not necessarily the games, but it's like a decent carryover from, you know, some of the stuff we've been seeing recently. So I actually didn't mind this episode. What did you think of Flogg's Revenge?
How is this supposed to be his revenge? Like, this entire episode, I'm waiting for Flogg to get his revenge, and there's no revenge. Like, it should have been called, you know, He-Man would be dead, series over, because he didn't wear a space helmet. I mean, like, I was so confused as to this episode's point, other than the fact that they're still on the planet, they're still stuck or whatever the hell it is,
right,
kind of thing. Like, that's
I don't know. I thought it was a big step up from the last 2 episodes.
It's a big step up from the it was entertaining. I'm just saying the whole, like, Flogg's revenge thing, like, you know, Skeletor puts some, you know, Kool-Aid in his gas tank or something and he wants to get revenge. That's a revenge kind of thing. Or Skeletor finally stopped being his bitch and Skeletor, you know, double-crossed him or something, and Flogg got mad enough to where he wanted to get revenge. The point is, Flogg is too stupid of a character to really want to get revenge on anybody.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, the title might not have been the best, but I thought the episode was good. I like the connections it made to some of the previous stuff.
Yeah.
Thought it was entertaining enough. I'm all the way up to a 4 on this one.
2.5.
Wow, we can't get you to...
It's not gonna happen. It's just, I'm sorry.
It's a 4 for me. We're heading in the right direction right here at the end, so let's see here. I don't need to talk about Flogg's Revenge any more than that, though. So it's a 4. It's a decent episode. It could have been as bad as the last one. Instead, it took it up a notch for me. So, final episode, Mike. Aptly entitled The Final Invasion. Final Invasion, episode 65. We don't need a break. We're going right into it. What did you think of our final invasion in the New Adventures of He-Man? Are we ending on a positive note?
I wish they would have done it a different way. I wish that Primus would have had some sort of happy ending. He-Man, Skeletor, and the mutants would have all gone back to Eternia, and they tried invading Eternia. Like, so we kind of get back to what we knew. Like, yes, in the beginning of this series, yes, He-Man and Skeletor are from a place called Eternia. Yes, He-Man followed Skeletor or whatever it was through the spaceways and things like that. But I wish this had more of a He-Man Masters of the Universe vibe to it than what it was.
Yeah, I could see that. I do like how it is obviously, again, connected to a lot of this stuff. I do like that the series actually was able to finish, like they knew this was the end. So we get actually get an ending to the series. That's a huge positive that a lot of series don't get. Couple questions. Mara has super hair?
Apparently.
So I didn't know that was a thing, but episode 65, they bust out the fact that Mara not only is, at the same time that she's been obviously this almost new character in the last 10 episodes, but she has super hair, so that was missing the other 64 episodes. Mutants are just going to surrender?
Yep.
All right. And no staff for Skeletor. It was that easy for He-Man?
Apparently.
So there were some anticlimactic parts to this, maybe some questions, but guess what, Mike? It's the final episode, and there was a finish to it, and it's over, so that alone made me give this one a 4.
What?
A 4. It's over.
3 at best.
Thank God. It's over.
Thank God it's over.
It
Yes.
had an end. It can't come back. They ended it. There's no cliffhangers. There's no, let's redo this later on and come back to this. No, it's over. The story can be done. We never need to revisit it. The final invasion happened. It's over. I like the way it ended. Number 4. That's the rating for me.
I'll give it a 3.
All
yes,
right.
it ended. Yes, it's this. Yes, it's that. That's great.
We did it.
Tune in next week, folks, when we actually enjoy shit again. Okay, so I've kind of talked about this episode so far in this double shot here. I don't have the same childlike, holy shit, that's not my He-Man, or holy shit, Michael Bay fucked up my He-Man, or whatever anymore. That is the that's not my He-Man, that's the reaction I had as a kid. And I still, kind of live with that a little bit, but having gone through all 65 episodes, as I've said previously, there were several good moments, there were several funny moments in the series. Skeletor is easily the best character. Sometimes He-Man had some good lines. Thank God, you kept saying about the attempt at character development the last 10 episodes. Thank God the last 10 episodes, for the most part, they dropped the fucking scientists. But overall, this is a show that I can wash my hands with bleach of and never watch again.
Yeah, I will never be watching this show again. Ever.
There's a lot of shows that I go back to for not only nostalgia purposes, but just to have something. Honestly, whether it's summer, whether it's winter, whether it's Christmas vacation, whatever, if I'm not watching any of my current shows on TV, like The Voice or Supergirl or the CW shows or whatever, if they're on hiatus or whatever, I'll go back and try to find something that I've seen X number of years ago or whatever. Like I just said earlier, I'm in the middle of watching a whole thing of Beverly Hills 90210. It's one of those things where this is not one of those. No. Like we've said in the first the 82 episodes of this podcast over the last 7 years, there are certain episodes of both Filmation, He-Man, and She-Ra, not counting Secret of the Sword, that we can go back to and enjoy and want to watch them. There is not a single episode in here that I would actually want to go back and watch to remember how awful this show is.
Yeah, like yes, we're not doing this, but let's say we were at the end of this whole thing, like doing obviously at the end of the Filmation He-Man, we did our top episodes and our favorite episodes, the worst favorite episodes, at least, all that type of stuff. We did a bunch of lists. We did the same thing for She-Ra. We're not going to do the same thing for this, but let's say we did one at the end of the entire podcast and we're just like, hey, your top 10 He-Man episodes across all the different series. If we were to do something like that, I guarantee you, even if you took the highest rated episode that I did in the New Adventures, none of these episodes would make that list.
Oh, no.
So,
I mean, like I said a second ago, moments with Skeletor, like lines from Skeletor, some of the lines that I keep putting into these podcast edits, and honestly, I'm gonna be honest with everybody because I've always been kind of transparent with a lot of this shit. I have put almost the exact same edit. I know for a fact on episodes 101 to 103, the exact same clips are in each episode because I edited it all at once. And I did not change any of the, like, Skeletor saying, this isn't going to even be worth watching. That's in all 3 of those episodes, probably in the same damn place each time. Like, Skeletor is the shining light on this series for me. His moments, his lines, his quotes, whatever you want to say,
right.
That's the best part of this series. The rest of it can die in the biggest dumpster fire that this country has ever seen. Which means it'd have to go to the White House.
Pretty much. That's all, folks.
Yeah.
On that note.
So.
Take it away, Mike. Take it far away.
I can breathe again. We're actually going to go back to Eternia, folks. Coming up in a couple of weeks, because we need a couple of weeks' time to kind of prepare ourselves for the goodness that is He-Man and the Masters of the Universe from 2002. This aired on Cartoon Network. We'll go through all of the information about the series. In the next episode, Kevin will have all of that for you guys. But we're finally getting to the Motu 2002 series, and it's going to be awesome. We are calling the next iteration of the Powers of Grayskull Masters of Grayskull. So we've had Tales of Eternia, Myths of Etheria, Masters in Space, and Masters of Grayskull. We've had a Toe, a Mo, a Miss, and a Mog. Where's Barf when you really need him?
Right.
But
or a Rog. No.
Yeah, no.
What is it? Rodents of unusual size? Russ? No, that's not what it is.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyways. Somebody knows out there.
Don't make me send a killer tomato after you.
Somebody out there got that reference, I guarantee it.
So we're going to be starting that. I'm actually going to end this podcast with the theme song for the 2002 theme song. After we're finished recording this, I'm going to put all of my Masters in Space files, outside of the ones I haven't edited yet, into the retired GCRN podcast folder, because that's where it needs to be. And yeah, trust us, folks. We will be a hell of a lot more positive next time.
It's a new day.
New day. Get your pancakes ready, folks.
It's a new day.
Yes, it is. Oh, God.
Time to make the donuts. Dunkin' Donuts are always fresh. I made the donuts.
We make them at least twice every day.
Time to make the donuts.
Not a few kinds, like supermarket.
Made the donuts. Time to make the donuts.
But up to 52 varieties.
The donuts. Time to make the donuts. I made the donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts, up to 52 varieties, fresh day and night. No supermarket can say that.
What the hell was that?
Coin counter in the other room.
Coin counter?
Yeah.
That's what Coinstar is for.
What?
Coinstar. You know, where you take your pennies to count them up to get money from it? Real cash, not just pennies.
Coinstar? I've never heard of such nonsense.
You seriously have never heard of Coinstar? It's been around forever. It's this machine in a grocery store. You go in and you put all your loose change into it. It'll count up and pay you cash.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I am Adam, Prince of Eternia, defender of the secrets of Castle Grayskull. This is Cringer, my fearless friend. Fabulous.